episode 8 of reality carp fishing. I'm down here on my own this weekend for a 24-hour session. Well, 2014 hasn't been a roaring success for me, has it? As I say, I'm down here on my own. Lee couldn't make it this weekend. I'm on the big lake again. Glutton for punishment. I want one of the big ones out of here, and I'm going to keep trying. I'm in a swim called the Walk-In. Conditions aren't too bad as it goes. It's a little bit cloudy, it's a westerly wind. It's not warm, the heat wave's over. But it's not cold. I would say it's spot on, absolutely spot on. So I haven't been for a couple of weeks. The last trip we did down here was a success for Lee, and I'll show you that in a minute. I've got the footage of that. And he had 3 up to £26. He had a 26, 12, a 24 and a 23. All in the space of about an hour and a half. I was in the swim next door, didn't even get a bleep. So as you can see, my head is completely gone. So what I'll do now is I'll show you that footage from a couple of weeks ago, and you can see what a carp looks like from the ones that Lee caught. So I'll show you that now. What's the worst that can happen? Another blank. Always done well in these swims though, these teen swims. Back in the early 2000s, used to catch an awful lot down here, and you could almost time your runs. People further that way would get a run, and then they'd come all the way along this marginal shelf, all the way along, and you could hear all the bite alarms going as the fish were moving through. It was incredible. But we caught a lot. We did catch a lot. And that was on little yellow pop-ups and PVA bags of pellet, just cast straight into the margin, off the marginal shelf. So yeah, I like these swims. If the wind's coming down this way, and it is a new wind, or it started yesterday or the day before yesterday, the fish do seem to be on that wind, so that's a good sign, really good sign. I don't know how many more of these blanks I can sit through. It's proper playing with my nuts. Do you reckon that baby swans look like Bruce Forsyth?
No.
What do you mean no? Lee's having a love-in with gnats.
The love nest. A love nest for blankers.
Yeah, and the blank continues. Some light, that's better. Yeah, the blank continues. Happy?
Loving it. Watching fish jumping in.
There's
and out
fish
of the lake.
jumping further to our left. I had a weird occurrence earlier on, proper screaming run, struck the rod and the other rod went off, so I struck that one as well, and I come in with nothing on both rods.
And that happened to me this morning.
And that happened to
One
Lee
rod
this
went
morning.
off, line bouncing up, and the rod tip bouncing up and down, line peeling off the reel, nothing on the end. It's fish trailing line. It must be fish trailing line.
Gotta be traders.
Get the violins out.
But I thought my luck had changed. No!
This is a Royal Albert Hall orchestra performance, this is.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
Still one more night.
And there's gnats.
That's all right.
One more night to go. There's another fish lunking. It's got to happen. It's doing me nutting.
Here we go. £26.12 at 10 o'clock at night on a DNA bait Secret 7. Cracking fish.
The blank's over.
Blank's over.
At long
Result.
last.
There she is in all her glory. Time to put her back.
Top man, Lee.
Another one, about half hour later, £23.8. Plenty of fish rocking.
Well done, Lee.
Let's get them baits back out. Try and bag a few more before the night's over.
Your drought is over. Cracking. I've had that one. I had that one last year.
Yeah?
Yep.
Here we have a lovely £24 mirror. Little fat football fish. Third one of the night. Let's keep them coming.
It's all come good.
Time to pull to have a fish.
Yeah, about bleed time.
Lovely little thing. Let's put her back.
Nice one. So this is my home for the next 24 hours. As I say, the swim's called the walk-in. This other water I've got in front of me. This left-hand rod is in the margin. There's weed beds in the margins here, and it's a lot shallower than the rest of the lake. It's only about 6 foot, 5-6 foot. So I've got this left-hand rod right in this margin, just in front of the weed bed, with a little wafter. Middle rod. It's about 25 yards. It's a lot deeper out there. We're looking at about 25 foot, 20-25 foot. And the right hand rod is round to the right at about 30 yards. Again in about 20 foot of water. Handfuls of boilies round each. PVA bags on each. I really am hoping this time I get something. As you can see, the conditions are pretty spot on, to be honest. A nice westerly here, blowing straight in my face. A few clouds in the sky. Please God, let it happen. To get away from it all, I took my son Jack down to the Royal Military Canal in Hive to do some float fishing. Back to my roots, so to speak, because that's where I cut my teeth with fishing. There and Dartford Lakes and Horton Kirby. Catching roach, perch, bream, rudd and tench. But the Royal Military Canal, that's got a place in my heart, that has, because I used to go on holiday there every year with my parents, with my brother, who incidentally come with me last week as well, with his son, and it was a good trip. Actually caught some fish, nothing big, just roach, perch, rudd. We was trying for some tench, but they didn't make an appearance. But it was nice just watching a float, double maggot. It was great, it really was great. I think all youngsters should start off course fishing, watching a float, learning watercraft. I've got nothing against instant carpers, I've got nothing against them at all, but you know, it just seems that, you know, people now go straight into carp fishing instead of learning their art by watching a float. You know, and just catching fish, different species, learning fish care. It was nice to get back down there and relive my youth, so to speak. Here and a cup of coffee. I've just redone all the rods and managed to get 3 or 4 pouchfuls or catpole pouchfuls of bait out before the seagulls got to it, so I'm happy with that. And it's the wind has really got up now, really got up. It's a proper southwesterly now. Good conditions. I've got slightly different rigs on from what I showed you on the last episode. So this is another variation of my combi rig, which I use for snowman setups. You can see the snowman there, DNA pop up and a DNA Nutters bottom bait, rig ring to the hook, size 6 Calder curved shank, usual bit of shrink tube, and then we've got a bit of braid here, and this is the interesting part, look how supple that is. That's the Calder mouth trap, and I've joined the two materials there using an Albright knot and then put a blob of putty over the knot. You can see how that rig works. You've got the stiffness here and then you've got the suppleness here, and it's really quite apparent that when the bait's on the bottom sitting like that, obviously the hook will be flat on the bottom, that would just be hovering over the top of the hook. When it's sucked in, you can see how supple that is, and then it goes straight onto the stiff section there, the mouth trap. And of course what this rig will do also is reset itself, because it's so stiff this end. If it's sucked and blown about on the bottom, this rig will constantly reset itself, so you know it's always fishing for you. So that's my other variation of a combi rig, which I mainly use for snowman setups, but I do use it for bottom baits as well. And that is a really effective rig. I used this one in France a couple of years ago, and this is the exact rig that I caught that 51 pounder on. Morning. I was going to say good morning, but it ain't. Quite an eventful night in the end. I went to sleep, fish crashing and bashing and lumping out everywhere in front of me. So I gave them some bait with a throwing stick. Oh God, I'm disappointed. 12:30 last night, or should I say earlier this morning, screaming run on my middle rod. Lifted into it and a fish on. I thought, at last. It was a lump. Proper lump. You know when you've got a big one on, the rod arches over and you just get that thud, thud, thud. And it was so slow, real slow moving, really slow, and it kited from right to left, and it started going down my left hand margin, but not fast, slow, and I had it on the clutch. It was tick 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 tick. I suppose I had it on for about 4 or 5 minutes and the bleeding up pulled. So I thought, okay Paul, at least you've got a run. Some consolation, but at least you're doing something right, you know it's working. Threw it back out there. 4:30 this morning, or 4 o'clock, 4:30, left hand rod, belting off. Hit into that one, fish on. Had it on for 4 or 5 minutes again. Didn't feel as big. It was a lot quicker. The fight, the runs were a lot harder and faster. This one carted to the right. Guess what? Hook pull. What the bleeding hell have I got to do? I'm dejected. Really, really dejected. That's the first fish I've lost, or first carp I've lost to a hook pull in 3 years. And for it to happen twice on the bounce, when I'm struggling, when I haven't caught a carp since May, it hurts. My guts are churning. I am proper, I was going to swear, proper miffed.